Good morning and happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, we typically do is go over crypto news and news in general in the space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's in the house, then we'll get into this. Mr. DJ Mines. Good morning, sir. Or good afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is where you are. Andrew Masad, what's up, man? Nick K, good to see you. 10 minutes to midnight. We have Claude. Good morning. Adam, Tug Life. I love that name. Someone in the chat. I need my BTC. Andrew Masad. Let's see. Son of a Rabbit. Kyle Rosa. Black Hat Team. Savage White. Good morning. Steven Cicero. Anybody else I may have missed, I apologize. Let's get into this. Bitcoin. 94,971 bucks. We're gonna be watching a clip with Mr. Tom Lee this morning. Apparently he says it's gonna be well over 100k by year end, which is a crazy prediction. Nobody can tell the future, but this guy's usually on point, so we're gonna have to see. Ethereum at 3607. XRP is up 17% to $2.72. Insane. Perfect. The alts have been killing it. Solana $224. We have ADA at $1.26. I told you guys, easy 6x, my opinion, back when it was like what, 40 cents. Let's see. BNB $647. We have TRX over here up 17% today to 24 cents. Let's see. Caspa is really not moving. I don't understand why. When everything's red, Caspa's wicked green, and when everything's wicked green, Caspa's were just red. it's just chilling in the same area. 15 cents. It's actually under 15 and a half. Let's see. ETC's at 33, almost $34, $33.99 to be exact. Vet over here is up 40% today to 6.5 cents, looking pretty good. Phantom is up 23% today. Jeez, $1.23. That's crazy. A lot of friggin' over 20%ers today. 25% on Link, $24.60. Wow, wild. H-bar, holy shit, H-bar is doing 50%, up 50% today, 35 cents. Jeez. Perfect. Hopefully you guys grabbed that. Pro also, I said it was probably going to be a decent buy, but who knows what's going on crypto.com. But right around 20 cents, 11% today. Interesting. Jasmy's up 35%, 4 cents. Jeez, man, there's so many coins that are freaking pumping today. Render's even up 7%, $8.84. Crazy, absolutely crazy. All right, let's move on. Crypto bubbles. I don't even want to see what the biggest earner of the day is. The biggest earner of the day is 56.9%. It's IOTA over here, 52 cents. Crazy. Is Caspa the biggest loser of the day? Nope, it's this one. Ethereum name. No, it's Athena. Athena 2.9% down, 83 cents over here. Wow, man, just look at this. It's like crazy. Look on the week, 169% for H-bar. Jeez. That's crazy. That is crazy. Well, you know what they say, tech always comes last, so hopefully that's the case for Caspa. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Flashbang, fear and greed index. We got extreme greed over here, 76. Just refresh, make sure. Yep, 76. The needle went down. I'm not sure how, but the needle went down from yesterday. Even with the market screaming like it is, the needle is down. So 76 is perfect. This is exactly what you want. You want a nice steady climb on this needle. That's amazing. Again, be fearful when people are greedy, and greedy when people are fearful. So watch that thing when it spikes, and you know it's time to run away. So I don't know, XRP is freaking killing it. It's kind of crazy. It flipped Tether at $160 billion market cap, dude, by $30 billion. That's crazy. 26 to be exact. All right, top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We got Bitcoin starting at a $1.875 trillion market cap. Ethereum, XRP, Tether, Solana, BNB, Dogecoin in 7th place, Cardano in 8th, USDC in 9th, and Lido staked Ether in 10th at a $35 billion market cap. Crazy. Avalanche, look at Avalanche. Was this in 11th place? $21 billion market cap. I don't know where this was yesterday. Avalanche, where were you yesterday? Interesting. I mean, it's been on a steady climb. Damn, Avalanche has been doing really well in the last 3 months. Jeez, what's the all-time high? It's still 64% down. Still a decent buy. That's crazy. $50. That's insane. Insane. Shiba at a $17 billion market cap. Wonder what Shiba's gonna do. I'm still holding it, ready to dump it. Please pump it. That's all I'm asking. Not asking much in this market. Let's see. You're jumping ahead, DJ Mines. We're going to get there. What are we saying? Oh, the AL3. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see. AL3. They even have it listed yet? Let's see. Move on to the mining segment of things. I want to watch a bunch of shit today. Oh, you're talking about this? Oh, yeah. I lied. Sorry. I don't know why I was thinking it was a new unit. All right. Bitcoin or crypto miners in general, you guys don't like to timestamp this stuff. Look at this AlphaPex DG Hydro 1 over here, 20 gigahashes, making $70.50 a day. Holy shit, that's crazy. The L9 17 gigahash unit making $64.01. We got the L9 16 gigahash unit making $60.24. Crazy. DG1 Plus 14 gigahash unit making $50 a day. The 11 gigahash unit $38.75 a day. Amazing. The AL1 Pro 16.6 terahash unit making $38.46 a day. Insane. And then this is the AL3 that DJ wanted us to look at. 15 terahash unit, $34.45 per day. How is the lithium looking? I heard about DJ's ventures. Why does it look all weird? What the hell's that? Oh, I must have clicked on something weird. $1.72. 7 day. Interesting. The 3 month. Look at the 1 month. This has been climbing on the 1 month. It could be way worse. 1 year it's down max. I mean, I think lithium will probably do well, but who knows? Who really knows? I don't know. What do you think? This is 10 cents. Yeah, this is 10 cents. Let's see. Yep, 10 cents per kilowatt hour over here. That's dude, I mean, hey, listen, if you're gonna get a good deal on them, I don't know what they go for now though. Does it tell you prices? I'm sure depending on how many you get, it's gonna be a different price, but oh, they're only like $3 grand. All right, let me look. Terahashes.com. My boy Hawk, if you guys are gonna go here, make sure you let him know I sent you. Let's see. What am I doing? How do I find a lithium miners algorithm? Sorry. Man, slow as shit. AL3. All right, $39.25. I'm sure it'd get you a better deal if you got a bunch of them. But $39.25. It doesn't seem that bad of a price. It doesn't seem that bad. But it's a gamble. How many days is that ROI? 34.45. Let me see. Just before we get into the news. All right. 3,925 divided by, what was it? Where are we at? 34.45. Let's see. 113 days. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's like under 4 months. Under 4 months? That's not bad. And that's after paying a 10-cent electric rate. You know what, DJ? Kick some ass, bro. I hope that works out. I really do. I hope that works out. That's crazy. That'd be sick. That'd be a sick friggin' 100-day ROI or so. All right, let's see. What is the AL Max? What is this one? The 8.3 from Gold Shell over here. 1567. Interesting. Oh, where's my L7? My L7, my 9050 over here. Jeez, look at this. You guys know I got this thing down to Terra Hosting. Shout out to Terra Hosting. If you guys have any interested in hosting, link is in the description. This is crazy. 9050, $30.42 a day on a 3+ year old machine. Holy shit, that's crazy. Making $30 a day on this thing right now. That's amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah, DJ, dude, you'll definitely you'll make some money. I'm sure. I don't know. Lithium just makes me nervous. I don't know what it is about it. Something makes me nervous, the lithium, but I hope it works out. And I'm sure if you just listen, get your profits. Don't like hodl it until, like, you know, the cows come home. Just sell it, make your money back, and then hodl. That's what I would do. That's 100% what I would do. All right, moving on. GPUs. Let's see what we got over here. Aleo, top of the charts. We got XNA as well on the 3090 Ti and Clore. Carlson, 30.90. Nice. Why Carlson? How's Carlson doing actually? Mr. Little Time Mining loves Carlson. He made a shit ton on it. 1/10 of a penny. 10th and a half. It did jump. It jumped the last month. Last 3 months not looking too good, but the last month it definitely. If he was buying down here, then yeah, that makes sense why he would be super happy. He's like loving mining Carlson. All right, looks like that's pretty much consensus around the what to mine today with GPUs. We got to move on to the news segment of things though, because I have a few things I want to watch today. So Bitcoin will close well above 100,000 before year end, says Fundstrat's Tom Lee. Let's check out what Mr. Tom Lee has to say. He is usually pretty on point with his predictions. Let's do it.
Our next guest sees the S&P rallying to 6,300 by year end, but says we could be entering what he's calling a zone of hesitation in the next couple of weeks. Joining us now, Tom Lee, Fundstrat Capital Chief Investment Officer and a CNBC contributor. It's good to see you, Tom. I want to talk to you about the bonds 10-year at some point, but you see 4 reasons why you still expect the S&P to continue to rally in December and maybe to 6,300 by year end. What are the 4 reasons?
Well, one is seasonality. December historically is a strong month, but when you're up more than 10% in the first half and it's an election year, December's been up 100% of the time. The second is yields have moved down to pre-election levels. You know, the 10-year's at 4.1. That's good for multiple expansion. The third is, I think it's been surprising, but sentiment's actually turned negative the last 2 weeks, even as the markets rallied. To me, that's a contrarian bullish signal. And then finally, we still have those 2 puts, the Trump put and the Fed put. And I think that means you still want to buy any of these dips.
What can Trump do to make sure the market keeps going up?
Well, I think we've seen it with how he's made cabinet proposal or nominations, that he's very pro-business. And I think, as many have said, Trump is very focused on the stock market. So I think communication is still a strategy, and it's a reminder that animal spirits could come back.
I don't know if you watch the way the financial, say this tactfully, I don't know if you watch the way the financial media industry covers tariffs. I mean, how can you call him pro-business, according to these people, when he's pro-tariffs? Because you would just think, you know, if you watch the coverage of tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a reminder that it's good to carry a big stick, and I think tariffs have proven to be a good negotiating tool. I think we've seen some proactive actions by other countries. And in general, I don't think the new White House wants to pursue any policies that would hurt corporate profits. So I think ultimately, whatever is accomplished is going to be pro-business.
That's interesting. All right, I hope everybody's listening.
Mr. DJ Mine says, Tandem just announced buy one, get one half off on Twitter. Interesting. You know what? I saw that on the website this morning because they changed the 20% to 10%. But if anybody's interested in Tandem, link is in the pinned comment.
At least that's one man's opinion. Whenever we talk about like the 10-year, it's always well, it'd be good this way, but it would be bad this way. If it is falling, which is good for multiple expanding, why isn't that indicating that maybe the economy isn't as strong as we thought, and that maybe corporate profits won't hold up there, and of the multiple expansion on one hand, but sometimes that's combined with a slowing in profit growth?
It is a possibility, and it's always hard to tell what the bond market is telling us. But when I look at the next 6 to 12 months, and we know the Fed wants to reduce the cost of capital for homeowners in mortgages and for small business owners, having the 10-year stay at these levels or even fall is actually an easing of financial conditions. So to me, that's a good sign.
Do you think that trying to, this Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy thing, do you think it's A, that they can make real progress, and B?
He's talking about the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, and absolutely they can.
Would that be a positive for economic growth, or would it be a negative for economic growth? Because you're laying people off, you're spending less.
It's funny that they probably told him not to say Doge.
Well, I think it's great that someone is scrutinizing these.
Bernie Sanders said it was great.
Yes, that's right. And these are
That's
huge.
not good.
It is great.
Well, I mean, these are huge budget items, and so I'd love to see someone really identify where there could be waste. Mm-hmm. And is that bad for the economy? I think in general, most people view government spending as the least efficient capital. So if you reduce government spending, and it's been crowding out private sector spending, I'd rather see the private sector reinvest that capital. And I think that would overall be very good.
You sound like it's a zero-sum game. I mean, a lot of people would take any spending they can get, whether it's government or otherwise, for an economy, for juicing the economy.
Yeah,
You think it would go into private if it's not spent by the government?
Yes, that's right. I think that would free up money because this is, money, capital that the government spends is competing with private sector money. I'd rather see the private sector invest this money at a higher rate of return. So I think overall it'd be positive for GDP and profits and for equities.
Do you want to, we always get a Bitcoin comment from you before we let you go. Normally it got stuck under 100. That's a pretty, it's a psychological level, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think some of this could be, there's a lot of folks who don't want Bitcoin over 100,000, and some of it may be the exchanges themselves are concerned because there is a pretty low supply of Bitcoin available over the counter. So you have a supply shortage, and if Bitcoin makes a move above 100,000, I think there'd be a big chase. So I'm still confident Bitcoin's going to close much higher before year end.
Before year end.
Before year end, yeah.
So break $100,000 before the end of the year?
Yeah, well above 100,000 before year end.
Well above 100,000 for the year end. Interesting.
It's just a matter of time.
It's December 2nd.
It is, though.
It's not that long, Tom. So it's going to do it in the next 4 weeks.
Tom makes bold short-term
I know.
calls.
You're nuts, and they all come. Usually they come true. On a roll. All right, Tom Lee, thank
They
you.
usually do come true. Interesting. Someone in the chat asked, what is the advantage of getting 5 to 6 wallets, like Tangent wallets? Isn't one enough? Yeah, so like it's basically just, giving crypto wallets to like family members or someone you think needs one, or Christmas gifts or whatever. That's why they do deals and all that stuff. But again, Tangent's one of the best wallets I've ever used. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. Just get your stuff off exchanges, please, unless you guys are planning to sell. Expect an S&P 500 in the 0 to 10% range in 2025. Let's see what they got to say over here. Again, CNBC Television.
All right, for more on the markets on this final trading month of the year, we want to bring in Jeremy Siegel. He is Professor Emeritus of Finance at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business. He's also Chief Economist at WisdomTree. And Jeremy, I don't know if you just heard that conversation. I'm going to assume you did. How would you weigh in on this, just in terms of what the market knows, what the market anticipates, what we should be expecting from policy in the incoming Trump administration?
Yeah. Good morning, Becky. I know Joe has been asking about what's going on with the 10-year. If you remember, on the day of the election, the 10-year really jumped by almost 20 basis points. I think that was a shot across the bow saying to Trump, be careful of all the tax cuts. Now, I think that the market will certainly accept an extension of the 2017 tax cuts. But remember, Trump really promised a lot more. And it really started turning around, Becky, as you said, when Scott Bessent was, basically nominated as the Secretary of Treasury, because he's known as someone that takes a reasonable stance on the deficit. The deficit is a long-term problem. I don't think it's short-term, but if every single one of Trump's promises on tax cuts does take place, I think that's going to pressure the bond market. And I think Scott's nomination really was the start of taking that pressure off.
Well, probably also recognizing that incoming President Trump cares about the market's reaction to and uses it as a measuring stick of kind of a report card.
Absolutely. No other president uses the stock market more than President Trump. I'd also like to comment on, this recent Trump tweet, if you would want to call it, about 100% tariffs on the BRIC countries if they start a new currency. I find that really curious because really I think the biggest threat to the dollar being used as a reserve currency is Bitcoin, which we all hear, Trump is a big supporter of. So it seems a little bit strange to tell them don't produce an alternative reserve currency when really Bitcoin is, being talked about by many countries in the world as their alternative currency, some of them getting rid of gold and going into Bitcoin. So I'm a little curious on how that's going to play itself out once we hear all the details.
Well, Jeremy, what are you expecting? What do you think will happen? You anticipate that some of his stances will be moderated because he will care about the stock market's reaction to this, and that's why. So you're positive on stocks as a result?
Yeah, I am positive. I mean, I know that, Tom, who I respect tremendously, thinks another 5% this month. I'm wondering whether we brought forward the good December in November because of his election. So it might be a little bit harder to get to 6,300. I think that Tom thinks there'll be a pause after that. We are at high valuations, but not extraordinary. And I'm beginning to see that the Mag 7 is a little bit lagging the rest of the market. Are we seeing the beginning of the rotation? I think this month might begin to tell us, maybe the Mag 7 will do nothing next year, and those small and mid-sized caps stocks, which are really so undervalued compared to the others, are finally going to have their day in the sun.
And that's okay with you?
I think that's perfect, and that'll keep the bull market going.
What would you anticipate next year if you think maybe we've already pulled some gains forward into November? What are you expecting for next year?
Well, I think I'm expecting a much quieter market. I mean, we've had two, blockbuster years, 2023, 2024. So I'm expecting an S&P probably in the 0 to 10% range. But I think that the Mag 7 and tech group might be flattish. So X that, you're probably in the 5 to 15% range for the rest of the market, since Mag 7 is 1/3 of the S&P valuation. So maybe for once we will see relative softness on the big high flyers that have been so good for the market the last 2 years, and finally those others going up. But the S&P being 1/3 of those high flyers, if they do falter next year or even really don't increase, it'll be hard for the S&P to make anything like the gains that we had in 2023 and 2024.
Mag 7 is so close to MAGA 7.
Yeah,
I just wonder,
I know.
Every time you say that, I like twitch a little bit. And actually, I'm wondering which of the Mag 7, I don't think you can say monolithically that they'd all do well under a Trump administration. I don't know which ones will continue to be.
I mean,
7.
obviously Tesla's big gains have been brought forward by its association with Trump. I mean, people were wanting to take Tesla out of the Mag 7 because it was doing so poorly, and then suddenly now it's one of the best performing stocks. A lot of people, of course, they had Netflix in there. It doesn't quite have the market cap, but those stocks are selling for 30, 35 times forward earnings, which is certainly possible.
Jeremy, the Trump trade we've talked about so much, you should pick 7 of the stocks and call them the MAGA 7, because it's just...
All right, it's getting a little out of control. All right, real quick, I saw this on Twitter this morning. I don't know how true this is. Just in, France to tax Bitcoin unrealized capital gains.
Eat shit, Gary.
Bunch of bullshit. Yeah, here we go again. I retweeted this. The government, when you lose your money on your investments, you get the hands up, nothing to do about it. The government, when you make money on your investments, they're pointing at the hand, give me some taxes. It's pretty much how it goes. It's so bullshit. All right, we're expecting a retail renaissance, says 5 new digitals. Michael Zacher, that's how you say his name. Let's do it.
Black Friday shoppers spent nearly $11 million online, up 10% from a year ago, according to Adobe. Cyber Monday shopping is underway as we speak. Let's bring in our next guest to talk about some of the key trends. Michael Zacher, 5 New Digital founder and author of The New Retail.
Why does it look so mad?
The NRF just named Michael in its list of influential voices.
That's the farted and I'm afraid to move face.
This is impacting retail in 2025. What if you were to write 3 headlines, what would it be this year, Michael?
Healthy exuberance, healthy spending, and a bright outlook going into the holidays.
Is that different than irrational exuberance? I guess
it is different. It's justified, right? I think irrational exuberance is expecting things to be better than they are, or something bubble-ish. I think people are feeling really good about their wallets. They've seen, employment is steady, inflation is coming down, and people are really ready to spend on themselves and their friends and relatives this holiday season.
How many times have we heard about the demise of the consumer this time around? And it's been greatly exaggerated every time, I guess.
Every single time. The headline that I've been dealing with for over a decade is it's the retail apocalypse. And I've maintained over the last decade, and certainly these last 4 years, that we're experiencing a retail renaissance. There are more places to buy more things in more ways than any time in human history, and the numbers back it up. And so we have traditional channels like physical formats that have really changed and become more immersive. But now, not only online can you buy from marketplaces like Amazon and websites, but people are buying through live streaming. They're buying through cross-border. If we look at what TikTok and Shein and Temu have done, it's really just an amazing time to be in the retail industry.
If you were only cared about deals, and I saw some videos, which we look forward to every year. I guess we shouldn't. People waiting outside the door, and then the mob scene and the fights and everything else that goes on. With so much being online now, can you find all the deals online? Do you not have to go get involved with that at the stores, or does it still help?
Not necessarily. A lot of the great deals are online. But if we look at who's done really well over the season so far, Walmart's come out a clear winner in all of this. And people are spending in their physical stores. They're spending on Walmart.com. Also, if you look at the off-price retailers, they generally don't sell online, or maybe 2-3 percentage points or 5. But people are going into places like TJ Maxx and Ross and Burlington, and they're digging in the piles and enjoying that treasure hunt. So I think
what's weird about Walmart online though? When you purchase, they have third-party sellers, kind of like Amazon, but it's way harder to return stuff. If you guys have any issues with that, let me know.
We're seeing healthy spend inside the physical formats as much as the e-commerce, but the e-commerce as a percentage of the whole has grown fantastically.
Can you point to what Target did wrong?
Yeah, so, I think Target's fallen back a little bit. If we look back 6 years ago, Target was actually ahead of Walmart in terms of how they were integrating online, offline technology and supply chain for what we call the new retail format, to build an ecosystem. So I think they fell away from that. They stopped investing at the same time that Walmart went all in. I mean, so Walmart now has a marketplace. They're on Roblox. They have their own virtual world called Realm. They do online, offline integration great.
I mean,
Plus,
to be fair to Walmart,
yeah.
they've done that for quite a while, just in terms of building up an online advertising business that's making a significant amount of addition to the bottom line, too.
Yeah, that's it. They've built that perfect new retail ecosystem. The other thing that Walmart has going for it is they're less focused on discretionary items, and Target was more focused on discretionary. But when I look at Target's leadership and underlying numbers, I think they're going to have a really strong 2025. I think we're going to see them come back.
Interesting. All right, moving on. Intel's path forward is to break the company into two. Let's see what they got to say over here.
Chris Rowland of Susquehanna. Chris, what's your take? What is Intel's path forward? Is this a value stock?
It's certainly not a growth stock. So I believe that they had some sort of a setback here. It could be guidance for the quarter. It more likely, though, is a setback on their 5 nodes in 4 years. That was Pat's plan. And perhaps even 18A, more specifically, their next big node, that may have slipped here. And this puts everything kind of into jeopardy. This does not seem like this was something that was planned. It seemed a little bit more sudden. I think Pat was like ride or die Intel. He was ride or die American manufacturing. And so my guess is that something slipped here. It could have been in the roadmap, and this puts kind of the whole Pat plan in jeopardy.
So you mentioned the quarter, and could it be because the quarter was bad, the current quarter, I'm assuming? I mean, the August quarter was horrendous. And so for you to say that the current quarter is something went wrong, that means it's horribly wrong, considering in that August quarter, they cut their guidance for the year. They cut their workforce by 15%. They suspended the dividend. I mean, you name it, it was terrible news that day.
Yeah, it was an awful update. And like I said, Pat may be leaving because of the December guidance. I do think, however, it's more likely about manufacturing, more likely about that roadmap, and 18A perhaps slipping as well. This was his thing, 5 nodes, 4 years. And so if that doesn't work, he doesn't work. Intel's plan of becoming the next manufacturing American giant, that doesn't work either. I think that's more likely it rather than guidance.
So, Chris, it's Tim. Thanks. This gets us then to kind of that question we were getting to earlier about the philosophy, but it really gets back to, and I think one of your competitors has a statement out there that they need a technologist to solve technology problems. And I'm curious if that's what you think too. And really, it gets back to who are they? What are they going to be here?
Yeah, I think the path forward here, back to Melissa's question, is to break the company into 2. And it's to break the product or design part of the company away from manufacturing. Manufacturing is going to be low multiple, high value. You're going to have to inject CapEx. Perhaps you can even sell part of the design/product business to inject capital into the foundry part of this. But the design part of this, and perhaps the part that Qualcomm is interested in here, is quite valuable. But for some reason, AMD has a $250 billion market cap and Intel only has 100, even though they still have majority share in both servers and PC over AMD. So I do believe that there is value there, but it's being completely masked by this manufacturing business that is something like a relic of a decade or two past.
Interesting. So weird, and they play all this shit at the end. All right, Crypto World, CNBC Television, Ripple's XRP surges towards $3 as investors anticipate crypto-friendly Congress. Let's see what they got to say over here. Again, this is yesterday afternoon.
Today, XRP continues to surge after reaching its highest level since 2018. And Vance Spencer of Framework Ventures discusses the fate of Web3 startups under President-elect Donald Trump.
Do you guys think XRP is going to hit $3 in the next couple days?
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Brandon Gomez. Crypto markets mostly in the red this morning. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin lost 1% and was trading at $96,200. The cryptocurrency has held a tight range in the mid to upper $90,000 level since the eve of Thanksgiving, as investors eye that $100,000 threshold. Ether fell nearly 2.75% to $3,600, and XRP jumped 43% to $2.74 after surging through the weekend, reaching its highest level in years after Fox Business reported Friday that Ripple is close to getting a new stablecoin greenlit by a top crypto regulator. The rally.
Let's see. Doesn't XRP want to go to be like a CBDC type coin? We don't want that though, right? Like that's, I don't know.
Though first kicked off soon after US election day, when the industry began to anticipate more favorable crypto regulation. Also looking for a moment at crypto-focused stocks, shares of MicroStrategy fell around 0.7% as of noon, after the company announced it added 15,400 more Bitcoin to its holdings for around $1.5 billion. Meanwhile, Mara Holdings dropped 6% after it announced its plans to offer $700 million in convertible senior notes due 2031 to qualified buyers. It plans to use proceeds to repurchase existing convertible notes due 2026, as well as to acquire more Bitcoin. All right, jumping into our main story, Crypto World's Tanea McKeel recently spoke with Vance Spencer, co-founder of Framework Ventures, about his expectations for the crypto startup space under the next administration and what kinds of projects he believes will thrive the most.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So as someone with $1 billion crypto venture fund, I think you're the right person to ask what Trump's victory means for the crypto venture capital space. We're talking about potential for clearer regulations or looser regulations. So what does that look like for the VC space?
It looks good. I mean, I'm looking at the chart of Bitcoin. It's at 94,000. So I think the industry's feeling pretty good, and the legislation and the regulation is set to follow. I think that's a Q1 thing of next year. But overall, we expect the atmosphere to be more favorable to crypto startups.
What kind of startups are you expecting to excel come 2025? Are there areas that were left by the wayside after the peak in 21 that could see a comeback, or is it still about infrastructure and tokenization?
I think it's more about use cases now. I mean, literally every successful crypto product, is being sued by the government at this point. And so really it can only get better. And I expect the people who will benefit the most from this will be DeFi protocols and people who are trying to connect the traditional financial system to the on-chain financial system. And people forget, but there's $200 billion of stablecoins on-chain, and that'll probably hit $1 trillion this cycle. And that means that Tether will be one of the largest financial institutions in the world. And a lot of the financial services that are built around that and on-chain in general will be huge beneficiaries of that move. So I think generally rising tide lifts all boats, games, DeFi, energy, really any sort of on-chain idea will have a better shot. But there's so many that are on the edge of just institutional acceptance and that have real revenue and earnings that are going to do really well. And that's the DeFi sector.
Let's also talk about markets long term. Bitcoin's gotten a lot of attention since it's been hitting all-time highs. What about Ether? It's suffered a little bit of like middle child syndrome this year, I think. Really kind of stagnant for the few months from say July with the launch of the ETH ETFs, and then a nice rally back to those summer highs right after the election. So I know that there were some concerns earlier. The narrative was a little bit more difficult, ironically, for investors to wrap their heads around. The idea of ultrasound money had sort of gotten out the window. So are there still questions about its use cases, and where does it go from here? What's next?
So ETH is on track to do between 3 and 5 bill of earnings this year, and that's at zero inflation. So like you think about the ultrasound money, idea, narrative, meme, whatever you want to call it, that's very much intact. It is the most profitable blockchain asset at scale that we have today. And really what's happening with Ethereum is they have an L2 based roadmap. So they have basically an ecosystem of ecosystems that are all effectively reselling ETH. They're building applications on top of ETH. And Ethereum is starting to realize that value in the form of ETH being burned. And really, if you look at the fees today versus August, that was the low for fees for ETH, it's about 30x higher. And so, like Bitcoin running first, running hardest, that's pretty much like standard bull market fare. And, at this point in 2020, Michael Saylor was on the scene. He was talking about, S&P 500 companies adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. The whole run was going to be about Bitcoin. 3 months later, ETH has tripled against Bitcoin, and all the alts and all the different apps have really taken off.
One of the other...
I feel like the alts season came super early this year or this time around, right? I mean, if we're into alt season officially, it came kind of out of nowhere. I thought Bitcoin was going to ride a little bit more, and then, it's typically after the beginning of the year, all the alts start popping.
The reasons that ETH had lost a little bit of its luster this year was the popularity in Solana. Where do you see that going over the next year, and how do you see it measuring up next to ETH?
So, we have exposure to all ecosystems, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana. And I think what's been surprising about Solana is just the growth of fees around meme coins. And, it's probably not the most institutional thing that you could talk about on CNBC, but you need to have a view on meme coins to be bullish on Solana, because that is 95% of the activity there. And so to the extent that persists, Solana is going to keep chugging along, keep doing fees. People are going to be excited about it. If it stops, that obviously might reverse. But I think what you're going to see this cycle, and maybe this is a prediction for 2025, is that the new L1s, there was Avalanche, there was, I guess Luna now, it's gone. There's Polkadot, all these other L1s that launched in 2020 did very, very well against both Solana and ETH. Who's going to be that, coin of this cycle? We think it's going to be Bearchain or probably Monad. Those are the two that people think about. And so it's all about the risk curve and where you are on it and, how far out you want to go. But for us, we want a piece of each, and we want to have that, that L1 that defines the cycle. And we think that's, still hasn't been released yet.
Bringing it back to Bitcoin, where are we in that market cycle broadly? Trump feels like a huge catalyst, but there's also the macro aspect to it. So are there any headwinds that you're watching for in 2025?
Macro headwinds, not as much. There's obviously unexpected things that can happen. I think interest rates coming down, ETFs ramping flows, and just MicroStrategy in the market today was trading more than NVIDIA, hours before its earnings. And when does that stop? When does it slow? MicroStrategy's 3x above its NAV, probably at some point in the near future, but who knows? I think the prognosis for all these crypto assets is, remarkably positive. And, for us, we're not, probably buying Bitcoin at, 94,000, but we're not selling it either. We have a very, very long-term view on it. And I think we have that for the rest of our assets as well. But, I think what we've yet to see is the legislation that comes out of the Trump administration. And if there's a path towards, basically legalizing digital assets, that's the case for another 100x growth in this space. And I think that is going to come. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, that's all for crypto.
Interesting. All right. Let me know you guys' thoughts on all that. Let's do it. Major altcoin signal confirmed. This is what I've been wanting to listen to. I haven't had a chance. He dropped this about 12 hours ago. Let's see what he's got to say. Mr. Lark Davis. If you guys don't know who he is, link is in the description. Let's do it.
A major altcoin signal has just confirmed, showing that we are on the precipice of an insane markup period for altcoins that could last over the next few months. So strap in. It's going to be a wild episode, and we got some crazy information to share. So first and foremost, it's this. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is the key signal to watch here. Damn. This is the weekly chart. Look at this bad boy. It has been grinding higher in this rising wedge pattern for a very long time. Okay, all the way since, gosh, mid-2022. It's absolutely nuts. Bitcoin dominance has slowly been grinding higher. Pessimism on altcoins has been extremely high. Unsurprising, considering everything that's gone on over the last 2 years. But tides are shifting, okay? And while it may not seem like a lot, this right here marks the end of that uptrend period, okay? So you can see the trend has been maintained for a very long time until now. The weekly candle has just confirmed a big move under, okay?
It's been about a
big
year,
move under
a year uptrend.
Now, does that mean Bitcoin dominance is going to zero? No, obviously not, right? But it could drop 20%, for example. The technical target from this is about 10% or so lower, but it could go 20% down or something as altcoins absolutely rage higher. The key thing to note is that the trend has been broken. The Bitcoin dominance trend has been broken. And that gives a lot of room for altcoins to finally be able to breathe and to start moving higher. Very critical thing here. Watching this Bitcoin dominance finally falter after an absolutely epic run. Also this, Matthew Hyland shared this, Bitcoin dominance first monthly bearish engulfing candle since November 2021, essentially showing bearish momentum. Hard to use the word bearish when it comes to dominance charts, right? But it's technically a bearish candle. I guess bearish if you're optimistic on the dominance of Bitcoin up, not it really matters, right? The price of Bitcoin, here's the crazy thing. The price of Bitcoin can go from $100,000 to $200,000, and the dominance could actually fall during that time, assuming, of course, that altcoins simply can outperform during that period. That's the key, sticky, and tricky part here, okay? So that's what we need to understand. But Bitcoin dominance is falling, and that's great for altcoins. I want to show you some more altcoin charts, but just real quick, then Ethereum is not yet hit an all-time high. AI coins just returned to the bear market highs. 90% of alts not even close to their all-time highs. Bear market PTSD is apparent despite every metric pointing to up. Agreed. Now look at this. This is the XRP chart. It's up 300% or something in the last few weeks.
That's what makes me nervous about XRP. Like, people are still buying in. And like, look at this one, right? The faster it climbs, the harder and longer it falls. And that's always like an issue. So I don't know. This pump, I feel like we're going to see one of these right back down and then could rip back up. But I don't know.
We are starting to see major movements across altcoins.
That's
like a lot of the older retail guys downloaded Coinbase app a few weeks ago and they just bought the coins they already had. They knew about. They didn't look at anything. Oh, what's I'm going to buy? I'll buy some XRP and Cardano because that's what I had last cycle. Max bid.
Or you just ask people at work and they say what they know, which is what happened to a few people I know.
But nuts. But even with all the relentless insanity of XRP, it's still not back to its all-time high. Think about how crazy that is. It's been relentlessly just grinding higher. It's been wild, a wild run for XRP. Still not back at all-time highs. Things like Aptos, new shiny coin, hot tech. Just starting to break out beyond key resistance. Lots of opportunity left in the market. I want you to understand that, okay? As Bitcoin dominance starts breaking down, it hasn't fully broken down, it's only starting to break down. This is a moment when there's a golden moment of massive opportunity here for investors, okay? You need to understand that. The crypto prof here, Mr. Mustache himself, Il Crypto Prof, over on X, he said, friendly reminder, the most bullish cross for altcoins could happen in 2 days' time, which happened. If that happens, we'll see at least 2021 again, IMO, more likely 2017. This is insane. So the 1 month chart for the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, this is a massive, massive bull cross right here. And of course, you can see on the chart the last time that we got this kind of bull cross happen, that we saw the total market cap of all crypto coins, excluding Bitcoin, surge from $200 billion all the way up to $1.3 trillion. That's a similar opportunity that we're looking at right now, where the price of all crypto assets combined is going to surge from, well, the current about trillion plus dollars, but was actually getting back close to previous highs here. From the current trillion plus up to a lot more. This is excluding BTC. I prefer the total three, which excludes Ethereum as well, because I don't know, Ethereum is really not an altcoin these days, is it? Anyway, regardless, it's going to go way, way higher. Okay, now is it going to be the exact same repeat of this 2021 run? No, but it might be more similar than you think. Another one here from El Crypto Prof, the Mustache Man. He said, take a look at previous cycles. If you think that altcoins are done here, you're wrong. So anyway, I completely agree, man. I completely agree.
Holy shit. Look at this 2016 chart. Holy hell. Then we get 2020. Yeah, but I feel like, look at the difference in size. It's like a third. If we only get a third of this, you know what I mean? We're like halfway.
If you think
that'd be sad,
the gains are done, you're wrong. I agree. By the way, go follow El Crypto Prof here. He's completely right, guys. We've had this massive accumulation period, and for the first time in 4 years, crypto's very, very exciting. I mean, crypto's always fun, right? But this is like, holy shit, it's time for big money to be made in the market in a very short amount of time, over the next 3, 6, 12 months if we're super lucky, okay? This is the total three, so this excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, and I prefer the total three here. I understand some people just like to use the total two, which just excludes Bitcoin. Anyway, whatever. So this actually just came back up to retest this right here. You can see resistance, 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 resistance taken out. So this is the $1 trillion mark, and I know we're currently in the process of retesting that here. Last weekly candle did close above it. Let's see what this current weekly candle can do. But a major move here has happened for the total cap of all crypto coins, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, only 15% higher, and we have new high breakouts for all altcoins combined. That is the kind of move that when it happens, like it happened back here, that when it happens, we see huge markups following. This is the breakout and markup period for altcoins beginning. They lag behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin breaks out first. Bitcoin has its markup period first. Then altcoins follow, often in a very dramatic way, to be honest. This is the total market cap, excluding the top 10. So this is the others chart, also on a major, major breakout here. It's what's interesting to note, look at this. The RSI hasn't even got overbought yet. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Despite all that, we were so far down. We were in so much pain for such a long time. We haven't even got overbought yet, man. That's crazy. Anyway, look at this. Downtrend, starting all the way back here in the peak of 2021. Okay, got our second peak here in 24. Guess what? That downtrend line was broken last week. Higher, higher, dramatically higher for a wide variety of your altcoin bags. Even the old coins, man, fundamentals don't fucking matter anymore. Nobody cares. Okay? Oh, who cares? We only have a few $100 billion total value locked, but a market cap of $30, $40 billion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. Fundamentals don't matter in this phase of the market cycle. I don't know if fundamentals ever really truly matter in crypto. At least not as much as we think they do. That's a different conversation for a different day. But anyway, everybody's
I mean, just the fundamentals are absolutely gone. Just look at meme coins. Look how crazy meme coins go for no reason.
Eat, okay? Except the people who come and buy the top, where they're going to be lunch, unfortunately. But anyway, you're here now. You're listening to this conversation at this point in time. And I've got good news for you because you're early enough that you can take massive advantage moving forward. Altcoins are going to be the place to be for the next 3, 6, 12 months, okay? Bitcoin goes up from the current price to 200, 220, 250K maybe. What are you looking at max gains? 100, 150% max, right? And there's people are going to tell you Bitcoin's going $1 million a cycle. Not going to happen. I'll tell you what, Bitcoin goes $1 million a cycle. In the wildly unlikely situation that happens, altcoin's going to go up way more, but that's not going to happen. Bitcoin's not going $1 million a cycle, okay? If it does, I guess great. I'll still be holding my Bitcoin, and I don't even know what to do with myself in that situation. It'll be so much money. Anyway, besides the point, altcoins are going to be the place to be. Look at all these charts we just discussed. Bitcoin dominance falling. total 3 up, total 2 up, the others chart up, everything breaking out at the same time. Altcoins are going to put in gargantuan gains. Or we're getting the biggest fake out of our lifetimes and it's all going to zero. One or the other. You'll let me know your thoughts down below.
Crazy. Shout out to Lark Davis for that video. All right, moving on. Last but not least, Altcoin Daily crypto holders. It's a trap. Let's see what he's going to say over here. This is Bitcoin and altcoins being suppressed due to manipulation. I don't know. Let's see.
I think some of this could be, there's a lot of folks who don't want Bitcoin over 100,000, and some of it may be the exchanges themselves.
Cryptocurrency holders, this dip is a trap. Bitcoin's price is being suppressed. There are
because there really is like very little Bitcoin to be bought up still on exchanges. OTC.
Altcoins that I think are also being suppressed right now. Stay tuned. You subscribe to Altcoin Daily for daily videos keeping you informed on everything crypto. So smash that like button for me. Let's get into it and understand why this is all happening. Crypto prices suffered a major dip for 3 big reasons. Number 1, extreme greed. Bitcoin's price has surged 47% since Trump got elected.
Wow. I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time.
The Trump pump. People have been feeling too greedy, too euphoric, and oftentimes when this happens, it is common to see a slight shakeout before a continuation. Number 2, leverage. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been liquidated from the crypto markets in the past 24 hours, not just Bitcoin, but throughout all of crypto. Again, this is not uncommon when we see things like this. Number 3, whales are playing games with this market. You know Wall Street manipulating markets is 100% par for the course. We've seen this in crypto before.
On September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. People listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. Bruh. And that's not illegal.
He says it's a fraud.
It says it's by anyone that buys it.
Yes. And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
It's just, so unethical.
So look at this and try to gain some perspective. There's the saying, when in doubt, zoom out, because looking at this, the Bitcoin dip really hasn't been that bad. We rallied so much, of course we're going to dip a little bit. Sure, altcoins saw greater corrections, but altcoins have also been rallying hard lately. My point is, they want you to feel worse about this than you should. They want to mess with your emotions. They want to try to shake you out. Nothing would be better for them than having you think the crypto market is topping. Understand that because Wall Street is getting into crypto in a much bigger way than ever before, Wall Street can now manipulate the markets in a much bigger way than ever before. In fact, Wall Street might be working with crypto exchanges to keep the price down. At least that's what Fundstrat's Tom Lee thinks. This is what he told CNBC, and he does say, don't worry, these same whales keeping the price down today will be the same ones pushing the price up tomorrow. Tom Lee says that despite this setback, he sees Bitcoin's price being well over $100,000 before the end of the year.
Do you want to, we always get a Bitcoin comment from you before we let you go. Normally it got stuck under 100. That's a pretty, it's a psychological level, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think some of this could be, there's a lot of folks who don't want Bitcoin over 100,000, and some of it may be the exchanges themselves are concerned because there is a pretty low supply of Bitcoin available over the counter. So you have a supply shortage, and if Bitcoin makes a move above 100,000, I think there'd be a big chase. So I'm still confident Bitcoin's going to close much higher before year end.
Before year end.
Before year end, yeah.
So break $100,000 before the end of the year?
Yeah, well above 100,000 before year end. It's just a matter of time.
It's December 2nd.
Do not be fooled. Tom Lee is betting his and his fund, Fundstrat's reputation that the stock market is going to be extremely bullish in December, which will add fuel to the fire of crypto to be extremely bullish in December. Tom Lee lists 4 reasons why he thinks this will happen.
You see 4 reasons why you still expect the S&P to continue to rally in December and maybe to 6,300 by year end. What are the 4 reasons?
Well, one is seasonality. December historically is a strong month, but when you're up more than 10% in the first half, and it's an election year, December's been up 100% of the time. The second is yields have moved down to pre-election levels. You know, the 10-year's at 4.1. That's good for multiple expansion. The third is, I think it's been surprising, but sentiment's actually turned negative the last 2 weeks, even as the markets rallied. To me, that's a contrarian bullish signal. And then finally, we still have those 2 puts, the Trump put and the Fed put. And I think that means you still want to buy any of these dips.
Also, there's a big question of Donald Trump. Is Donald Trump really as good for the markets as everybody says? Tom Lee says Donald Trump remains bullish for all markets, and the Trump tariff FUD that the mainstream media keeps perpetuating, Trump's tariffs might be very bad for the economy. Tom Lee says, do not be fooled by this. Trump is good for markets.
What can Trump do to make sure the market keeps going up?
Well, I think we've seen it with how he's made cabinet proposal or nominations, that he's very pro-business. And I think, as many have said, Trump is very focused on the stock market. So I think communication is still a strategy, and it's a reminder that animal spirits could come back.
Say this tactfully. I don't know if you watch the way the financial media industry covers tariffs. I mean, how can you call him pro-business, according to these people, when he's pro-tariffs? Because you would just think, you know, if you watch the coverage of tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a reminder that it's good to carry a big stick, and I think tariffs have proven to be a good negotiating tool. I think we've seen some proactive actions by other countries, and in general, I don't think the new White House wants to pursue any policies that would hurt corporate profits. So I think ultimately, whatever is accomplished is going to be pro-business.
That's interesting.
Look, guys, we can argue what happens in the short and midterm. Might go up in the short term, might go down in the short term. To be real with you, that is very possible. It could go either way. I think it goes up. But beyond that, my point is, the smartest people in the world recognize that over the long term, Bitcoin is going up. Financial analyst James Lavish explains that Bitcoin is just 2% of global assets today. It will for sure get a lot bigger. He suspects Bitcoin to hit $1 million within 7 years. This is such a powerful explanation.
There are $900 trillion of global assets, investable assets. Bitcoin is currently 1.7 trillion of those, which is 0.02% of total assets. It's 1/10 the size of gold. So it has a long way to go here, but at $90,000, it's still only 0.2% of the entire investment universe. Now remember, it's 1/10 the size of gold, but gold's been around for thousands of years. Bitcoin's been around for 15. This is tremendous momentum, but a huge amount of space here for it to start taking some allocations from those other areas. Where will it take allocations from? Well, the obvious one is gold. Second obvious one is equities. The third obvious one is bonds. And then the fourth obvious one is real estate. So it's going to kind of go in that order in my mind, that investors are going to start realizing that, oh, this is digital gold. Oh, I should, instead of having my money in just equities and bonds, I should have some in Bitcoin. Oh, instead of having all of my money in real estate, and instead of looking for real estate investment opportunities, forget about your home, I should buy some Bitcoin instead. Why? Because it's liquid. It's trustworthy. It has a tremendous rate of return over the course of just 4 years. Every single 4-year period, it has a rate of return. So that's another thing. And then just doing quick math on it, you know, it's 0.2% right now. At 1% of the total global assets, Bitcoin's a $9 trillion asset and worth about $450,000 per coin. At 3%, it's worth $1.3 million per coin. So we have a long way to go. I don't know when we get to that $1 million level. I expect it to be in the next 7 years or so.
So, what altcoins do I also think are being suppressed right now? To be honest, probably many of them. There's probably a lot of buying right now, combined with artificial price suppression. I believe Ethereum is being suppressed. I don't think there's any reason the price should be this low at this point. Trump owns more Ethereum than Bitcoin. I think Ethereum is eventually going to pop like a beach ball being held down in the ocean. XRP was being suppressed for a long time, and we're seeing exactly that right now. I believe Chainlink is being suppressed. I think all the sellers should have been...
Ooh, Chainlink. Chainlink, that's a good point, actually. What's Chainlink looking like? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut him off, but I totally haven't looked at Chainlink at all. Chainlink. Is this one still down a lot? 52% down. 3 years ago, $52 all-time high. So an easy 2x. Interesting.
Been exhausted long ago at this point. Chainlink is doing real huge things in the world. They are working with Swift. They are working with the DTCC. I think Chainlink is being suppressed. Sui, I think, could be at a similar price point to Aptos eventually. They do have different tokenomics, but I don't see...
Sui's not being suppressed. It just hit an all-time high.
Why Sui couldn't be where the price Aptos is now. I do think that they're buying Sui right now and kind of promoting Aptos. I do think prices are kind of being manipulated in that way. Hey, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We'll be talking a whole lot more about this very soon. Guys, if you're interested in buying...
Okay. Well, that's where we're going to end things. That's it. Get into the recap segment of things. Shout out to Altcoin Daily for that video. All right, moving on. Anybody just joining? Bitcoin, $94,800. Still looking amazing, even though it's down 0.5%. Ethereum at 36.04. We get XRP, $2.69. Major Hadouken over the past couple days. ADA is at $1.26, up 15%. Told you guys, perfect. ADA is going to be a good buy. We have Sui is already up 16.74% to $3.76. We have DOT up 15 or 16% to $10. Algorand is up 25% to 60 cents. ETC even is at $34. That's amazing. Love that. Caspa still holding 15.4. It's going to be fine over a long term, but I don't know why it's the only one that's lagging behind right now. I don't know what's going on. VET over here, 6 cents, 6.6, up 40%. Crazy. Phantom, $1.24, up 23%. Link is up 23% as well to 24.75. Crazy. So many things pumping. Dogecoin, I can't believe Dogecoin's holding real strong at 41 cents. That's crazy. HBAR, again, 41% today, 34 cents. Anybody that was into HBAR, congrats. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Large Casper miners selling into BTC. Yeah, Kyle Rosa, that's half the problem. Marathon Digital taking over, investing into Caspa. They invested into Caspa mining machines, right? Where they're obviously profitable. So they're mining and they're just selling it into Bitcoin. That's what I would assume is happening. But yeah, that's definitely going to be suppressing the price. But for Casper to hold where it's holding, and it's been holding for a while, it's still pretty impressive for a brand new coin. It's only been, this is its first bull market. It's never seen one. So once it gets some more adoption, it'll be fine. It needs to get on Coinbase though, and Binance for sure. There was actually hints of it coming to Binance probably this month or next month, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you guys can go look at that. All right, over the past day, biggest earner is IOTA over here. 55 cents, up 65.5%. Crazy. HBAR's in second place, 43% up on the day, and Ondo is up 38.2% to $1.66. Crazy. Oh, Vet. Forgot about Vet. 41%. Again, 6 cents. 6.6 to be exact. Interesting. Man, everything is just looking insane. Let's see, what is this one? Pulse Chain is down, ranked 100th over here. Down a little bit today. Caspa also just down on the day, 38th, ranked 38th. What's this one? Athena is down 8 to 84 cents. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Flashbang Fear and Greed Index is at a 76. This is good. The number came down from yesterday. I don't really know how, but it did. It's at a 76, so this is good. We want this needle to reset around 75 and have a nice slow grind through Christmas. That'd be sick, but I think we're probably going to see some sort of sell-off. We're going to have to. There's no way things can go up like that forever. So who knows if things are going to pull back sooner than later, or I don't know, we rally for the next couple months. Either way, this is well-deserved. We all needed it. With that being said, you guys, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me on this morning's episode of the Daily Grind. I will be back tomorrow morning around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, peace out and have a good day. I'll be dropping a video in like 10 minutes. Later.
Perfect.
Eat shit, Gary.